Okay. So this is, we have seen in the previous session, right? So this is the Tableau desktop screen wherein you will be able to start connecting to different data sources. So this is my Tableau desktop homepage. What is this called? It is called as homepage with multiple panes: connect pane, open pane, and discover pane. So what is the use of discover pane? It is just like a you see blog articles and various resources, if there are any beta versions, if there are any latest versions. So we will see all those on the discover pane. Open pane is where you will see your recent items, whatever you have recently saved, recently closed. So you will see those in the open pane. Okay. And the most important part in the connect pane is in the home page is the connect pane, where you will see, where you'll actually see what are the different Tableau sources you have, what are the different Tableau connectors that are available here. Okay, so this is data visualization. So before you go to the visualization, you first need to connect to the data source. Okay, what you need to do, you need to connect to the data source. Let's say somebody says that I want a report on the last quarter sales. So you need to identify what is the source of those last quarter sales. Okay, is it an Excel? Is it a cloud source? Is it coming from Salesforce? Is it coming from Oracle, or is it coming from Teradata? So you need to identify that. You need to identify what is the data source. You need to first establish the connection to that data source. That's when you will be able to make your sales quarterly sales report, whatever you have received a request for. Okay, so that is what first thing that we need to do. Understand from where our data is being, understand from where we need to fetch the data. Okay, so connect pane, whatever you are seeing here, is where you're going to select the data. Okay, for the demo purpose, for the first initial purpose, we will rely on an Excel sheet. Later, we will see how to connect to a server, how to connect to a cloud. We will see all those options. Okay, so what is the first thing? Microsoft Excel. Click on Microsoft Excel. Browse the file wherever is the location of the file. I'll say documents and data sources. So I'm picking an Excel which is given by Tableau itself. Okay, so once you connect to this, right? So it will take us to the next page, which is nothing but the Tableau data source page. This is called the data source page. You can see that at the bottom also, data source. If you click on this, it is nothing but the start page or the home page. If I click on this, it will go back to my home page. If I click on it again, it will take me to the last active page, which is nothing but our data source page. So here, this is where we are going to select our object or select our sheet. Your Excel might have n number of sheets. Okay, your Excel sheet might have 4 or 5 different sheets. Okay, one for quarter 1, one for quarter 2, one for quarter 3. So you have different sheets for each quarter sales. Okay, or first sheet has sales data. Second sheet has some other information. The third sheet has some other information. So if we want to create a report, we need to select which sheet should we be bringing into the tool over here. Okay, so what are the various components here? We have discussed that previously, but let's reiterate once again. So first thing, on the right hand side, you have something called as, sorry, on the left hand side, you have something called as left hand pane. So what does this give you? It gives you all the list of objects that are part of your data. Okay, so this is your left hand pane. It gives you the list of objects. If you are connecting to a database, what are the tables that are there in that database? What are the, what do you say, sheets that are there in the database? you will see all that information. Okay, so first on top of the screen, you would see what is the data source information. What is it? Microsoft Excel or a database or anything. So there is one more option called add, where you can combine multiple data sources as well. We will come to this later. After we finish some basic concepts, we'll get back to this point where you can add some data source. Okay, so this is your left hand pane. Then I have on top of the screen, I have something called as, this is something called as a canvas. What is this called? This is called as canvas. So this is where we will drag our table and add it to our Tableau. And then you have a small section called as the metadata grid, and the second one, which is nothing but the data grid. So this data grid and metadata grid will populate once you bring any sheet here. So in the current sheet that I have selected, right, it is a retail data set where you have sales information. Okay, orders, what are the objects that are there under those orders, what products are there under those orders, ship date, order date, and customer information, from which state the customer belongs. All that information is available in the Excel here. Okay, so let me drag one sheet here, and I drag the sheet. Okay, first thing, you get your in the canvas, you see orders is now placed. Okay, and see, immediately your metadata grid is populated and your data grid is also populated. Okay, so this gives us a preview of what is the underlying data. Don't confuse this like loading data into Tableau. We are not loading data into Tableau. We are just connecting to the underlying data source. And it gives us a brief overview of what is the data that is there. Okay, what is the data that is there in the background in the Excel? We will get a overview of that in the data grid. That is the main functionality of a data grid. Before you start creating your visualizations, it will give you a brief overview of what are the columns, what are the data types, and how does the data look like. It will give us an overview. Okay. Now, the next section that got highlighted when we added orders. Okay, so you see on the right hand side, right hand top section, live connection, extract connection, and something called as filters. So what is the significance of filters? I can actually restrict the data that I'm bringing from my Excel sheet. Okay, let's say I am from a particular state. I want to see only the sales of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So then I can add a filter saying that get the data only from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Okay, so I have information from the entire country, but my report or my dashboard only needs specific 2 states of information only. So in that scenario, there's no point reading the entire data, right? So that is the reason we'll go for a filter over here. What is the use of metadata grid? It gives you an overview of what are the data types and all in a single snapshot. Okay, right now you see I have to read the entire data like this. I have to scroll and read the entire data if I have to understand this. Instead of that, if I expand the metadata grid, right? So it gives me a direct, what is the data type, what is the row, what is the field name, and all those things can be identified from the metadata grid. Okay, in case if you have a join and anything, right? So it will also show you. So if you have a join, from which column are we getting the data? So that is also provided in the metadata grid. Yeah, so we'll get to that, Vamshi. I see your question. That's the next point we're going to discuss. Okay, so what is the next one? We have connection types, live connection and extract connection. So for now, let's stick to live. We will understand what is extract in a later manner. So basically, what does a live connection mean is whatever updates are happening on the Excel sheet, right? So the same thing will be applicable over your visualization also. Okay. So when you say live connection, right? Let me hover on this. Okay, what does it say? Connect connect directly to your data. What does it say? Connect directly to your data. Speed of your data source will determine performance. Okay, basically what it says is it's live data. As soon as some updates happen on your data source, right? Whether Excel sheet or database, whatever, immediately your visualization also would show that updated information. So that is the use of a live connection. Okay, so extract is a snapshot. We will get to this extract in the later discussion. Now the question is, what are these symbols and what does that signify, right? So let me clear this. So what are the symbols that we have on the data source page? What all do we have? We have hash key. Then you have ABC. Then you have a calendar. Then if you go to the right, you'll also see, yeah. So you see there are certain globe symbols as well. Okay, so you have certain globe symbols as well. And then you have yeah. So you have something called as true and false, and you'll also have calendar and clock. So what does these signify? So the first one, this signifies that it is numeric data, numbers, numeric data. Okay, so what does the second one signify? So this is string data, string varchar, those kind of information. So calendar signifies date information. Okay, globe indicates that it is geographic data. Okay, so as long as your field is of the standard name, if you see the current data source, it says country, city, state. So these are standard geographic fields, right? So immediately it identified it as a globe and it signifies that it is geographic data. Now the next one is true or false, which is nothing but Boolean data. Yes or no, Boolean data. Okay, so then we have date time, which is nothing but calendar and clock would be indicated by date. Date time would be indicated by calendar and clock symbol. Okay, so if you feel that the data source is not correctly, the field is not correctly identified, you can always modify that as well. Okay, so you can modify that as well. So I want to change this to date and time. So immediately it will change this to, you see, calendar and a small clock on top of it. So it will change it like that. By default, Tableau will identify the underlying data source and it will data type, and it will share it with you. Okay, Vamshi, I hope that answered your question. Spatial is also something related to what do you say, geographic kind of a data only. So it has got a specific use case. Okay, so it can be used for geographic representation, and also if you want to put some geometric things on the visualization, that will also be possible to spatial data type. Okay, so not a very common data type. The rest of the ones are regular common data types. So at the bottom of the screen, you see three different options, right? So you see first, go to worksheet. You see worksheet, dashboard, and story. What are the three options that you see? New worksheet, new dashboard, new story. So what are these three items? Worksheet, dashboard, and story. So what are, let's see what are these three different concepts. So worksheet is nothing but your basic graph. Okay. So within a worksheet, I will be able to select a graph. I will be able to create a graph. Okay. What is my requirement? I get a requirement saying that I need sales dashboard, right? So within the sales dashboard, we have multiple reports: sales across states, sales across days, sales across different products. sales across different point of sales. Okay, so you have different options like this. I mean, different graphs like this. So we can create those individual graphs in a worksheet, and we can combine all these worksheets and put them in a and then combine them in a single dashboard. Okay, so worksheet is basically a single graph. Dashboard is kind of a collage of all the graphs that you want to represent. And story is more or less like a slideshow or a PowerPoint presentation. So this is a collection of graphs. And story is collection of graphs and dashboards. So I can combine both dashboards and graphs in a story. So this is more of a slideshow or a presentation kind of a thing. Okay, so let me show you a small example here. Tableau has given us some sample workbooks which we can use in order to understand these concepts. So all of you might have used internet banking, right? So when you use your internet banking, as soon as you log in, it gives you a brief overview of your account. What is your account balance? What is your credit card balance? Okay, what are your recent transactions? Okay, and you get a overview of what is happening, what has happened on your account, right? If there are any upcoming bill payments, it will show you that. Okay, if there is a credit card bill due, it will show you that information. So all those individual pockets of information are more or less like worksheets or the graphs, and the combined view is called as a dashboard. Okay, similarly, when you log into your internet service provider, right? Okay, Act, Geo, whatever is the service provider, it will show you a dashboard. What is your account number? What is your current month usage? What is your current month bill date? Is it paid or not paid? Okay, then you have your usage data, your FUP data. Each day, how much data are you consuming? So all that information would be shown in the initial page. So that is the dashboard for your internet service. So if you talk about the individual graphs, right? Usage is one graph. Okay, and bill payment and previous bill payments, that is one graph. Okay, current month information is that is one graph. So you create these graphs individually and combine them in a single place. Okay, so let us see the example here. What you see is a dashboard. Okay, executive overview, profitability. So sales information, profit information, profit ratio, profit per order. This is all individual information again. So then you have a map view, and then you have an area chart over here. So I can select which region I want to look. So I want to see the central region information. So now all the graphs are representing central region information. If I say East region, clear what is dashboard, what is worksheet. So we are going to create these individual sheets. Okay, if I click on this and if I say go to sheet, right, it will take me to the individual sheet, whatever we have created. Yes, Jay, Vamshi, Swati. Yeah, thank you. Okay, similarly, other dashboards as well. shipping. This is again an individual sheet. Let me show you what is a story as well. Okay, let's say you're given 3 months of data and you're asked to come up with your analysis on that data. And as part of your analysis, you have created 8 different dashboards. So you have created 8 different dashboards. So all those 8 different dashboards, you want to put them in a logical manner. Like you want your users to go through those dashboards one by one in a specific order. So how do we do that? We make use of a story. Okay. Within Tableau, we have an option called a story where I can give the users a slideshow kind of a choice over them. So you see here, I have around multiple data points over here. So first one, it says it has a specific title on top. It says global population and birth rate are imbalanced. Global population and birth rate are imbalanced. So it whatever underlying data is there, it is something which is supporting this title. So each one is called as a story point. I can put each of my dashboard in these story points. Okay. The second one says a few countries spend more than 14% GDP on healthcare. So that is the second one. Likewise, all the 10 dashboards or 8 dashboards that we spoke about, all those, if we want to put them in a single slide by slide, one by one kind of representation, then we can go for something called as a story. Okay. So dashboard and story is the final part of your Tableau development. It is more like you have prepared the entire visualizations and you want to present that to your end user. So dashboards and stories are more or less kind of the presentation layer. Okay, so that is more or less kind of a presentation. Okay, so this is what is worksheet, dashboard and story. Coming back to our original discussion, we have connected to this orders data, right? So if I click on sheet, it will take me to the worksheet over here. So this is the workspace where we are going to create our visualizations. So what have we done so far? In order to create a report on sample superstore sales, what we did, using the home page, we have selected the Microsoft Excel as the data type. We have selected Microsoft Excel and we have connected to the underlying data source. And once we made the connection, we went to the data source page and specified what is the sheet from the sample superstore Excel we need for our sales dashboard. So we have selected orders in the canvas over here. So this means whatever report that I am going to generate, it would be generated on orders table, which belongs to sample superstore data set. So this is what we have done as part of the exercise till now. Now coming back to this space. So this is called as your Tableau workspace. This is your playground where you are going to create all your visualizations, where you're going to create all your graphs or visualizations, reports, whatever you can term it as. Okay. Line charts, bar charts, donut charts. The possibilities are endless. Okay. So what are the different elements of the UI here? Again, let's work on that. First, on the right hand side, you have something called as the data pane. Okay, you see here, it also highlights the. So this is your data pane. So under your data pane, I have my data source information. Okay, I have my data source information. It is nothing but orders data from Superstore Excel. Okay, and then within this data pane, again, I have two subdivisions. Okay, the first one is called as the dimensions pane. The second one, it is called as the measures pane. Okay, so this is all dimensions and this is all measures. So you can also see the difference in the color as well. So this is your dimension and this is your measure. Where did we click to get to this sheet? From the data source page, I just clicked on the bottom section, sheet 1. Or you can also click on this new sheet as well. So what do you understand by the terms dimension and measure? Any idea what do we mean by dimension and measure? Dimensions are qualitative, yes. Okay, so basically, when you talk about a report, right? So there are two parts to it. When you talk about a measure, there are two parts to it. Dimensions and measures. Okay, dimensions are nothing but descriptive fields. Measures are nothing but quantitative fields. Okay, so for any particular business, you will have dimensions and measures. So dimensions, they describe about my business. Measures, they quantify the performance of my business. Okay, so let's say I talk about a company. We will tell like the company is established in so and so year. It has 30 years of experience in this field. It has branches across all 20 states, all the states in India. Okay, it has international presence in like 14, 15 countries. Okay, the clients are again from different countries. Okay, it serves, it manufactures these kind of products, um, like 15, 20 different products. Okay, it serves these kind of customers. So these all are descriptive fields, right? Like how old is the business, how vast is the business, what kind of products it offers, what kinds of services it offers. So all these are nothing but dimensions. Now, what are measures? So for the same company, if I say my employee headcount is 15,000 employees across all these locations. Okay. And again, my revenue is 5,000 crores. My profit after tax is around 3,000 crores. Okay. Similarly, at individual state level, what is my profit? So all these are nothing but fields which describe the performance of my business. If I want to know how well is the company doing in the last quarter or in the last month, I would go for the measures. So when you talk about a report, right? So most of the times it would always be a combination of dimensions and measures. Okay. Sales across different regions, sales across different years, sales across different quarters. So sale is the measure, quarter, region, year, all these are dimensions. Okay. Any question on what is dimension and what is measure? Swati, did this give you more info on the dimension and measure part? Okay. So Tableau automatically segregates what is dimension and what is measure. Okay. So how does it identify? Based on the underlying data, it identifies how much is the. So based on the underlying information, it identifies what is dimension and what is measure. You can see all these are textual fields, globe and date and all these things. And all these are nothing but numeric fields. Okay. So apart from dimensions and measures, you also have few additional fields which are created by Tableau. And these are called as generated fields. Anything which is in the notation is in italics, right? So it means that it's a generated field. Okay. So when Tableau needs to work on multiple measures, multiple dimensions, these generated fields automatically come into picture. Okay. Measure names, latitude, longitude, orders count, like how much is the number of, how much are the number of rows that we have here, measure values. Okay. So then next, what are the other elements of the UI here? Let's go with those as well. So first and foremost, my most important section, columns, shelf, and row shelf. So these are called as column shelf and row shelf. column shelf and row shelf, whatever you want to create a view, right? So you need to drag these dimensions and measures into columns and rows. Okay, so filters, again, we'll see what is pages in a later discussion. Filters, the same functionality. If I want to restrict my view to a specific data, I can go for a filter. Okay, and then next one is called mark shelf. Mark shelf is nothing but what is the representation that you're going for. Is it bar chart? Is it line chart? So you can actually see that in the drop down here. Okay, so you can see, right, line, bar, area, square, and all these things. How are you going to represent your data? So you can select that from the mark shelf. And then on the right hand side again, you see there is an important section called show me on the right hand top corner. What does this show me indicate? So it gives you a list of sheets. You see, I have a lot of sheets here, text tables to packed bubbles. So we see a lot of sheets available here, which is, sorry, a lot of graphs that are available here. So what is the help of show me? This is like the recommended charts. Okay. All of us are new to Tableau. We don't know what chart type should we use for certain data. So it will automatically recommend when you select the data here. Right now, everything is disabled over here. Okay. So what we can do here is, okay, I'll select, let's say, order date and sales. Okay. If I select order date and sales, you see there are a lot of charts that got highlighted here. Lot of charts that got highlighted here. So it is a date column. So date column is best represented in a line chart. Okay. So whenever you have date column, right, line is the best way of representing it. So when I click on this, you see, immediately it gives me a line chart here. Okay, that's how simply I can create a chart over here. So if I go to another sheet, I just clicked on sheet one. Sheet one, I can rename as well. So line chart. Okay, I can rename it just like Excel. I can also color it. Okay, so this is blue. Now when I go to sheet two, I want some other chart type. So I'll go for this time I'll select state and country and I'll say profit. So country and state are geographic fields. You see the maps got highlighted over here, right? So under the recommended charts, you have other chart types as well. A text table, heat map, bar charts, different types of bar charts, a pie chart and all this. So let me click on this map over here. So immediately it will create a map chart, map visualization for us. Okay, so why is Tableau bringing all these fields into rows and columns and all these fields into the mark shelf? Similarly, in the line chart as well, why is year in the columns and why is sales in the rows? What is the significance of these? Why do we have one in blue color and one in green color? So this is something which we will be understanding in the next class. Okay, what is the significance of this? What happens when you interchange this? Like if I put sales in columns and order date in rows, what would happen? Okay, and what are these generated fields, latitude, longitude. Okay. And what are these options over here? Color, size, label, detail, and all these things we will discuss in the next session. Okay. So before we go any further, right? So what we will do is we will discuss about the installation part. Okay, all of you need this tool to work on the installation, so to work during the session also, right? So what you can do here is go to tableau.com. Okay, so in this you have let's say Tableau public download. So there are two ways we can do it. First one, go for public.tableau.com. So for time being, you can use this. So you can sign up here and you can download it. And the other one is Tableau Desktop. Okay, so Tableau Desktop is a 14-day trial version. Tableau Desktop is 14-day trial version. So if you use your 14-day trial version now itself, you'll not be able to, we can extend it through a different means, but you can install Tableau Public and work along with me for the practice. Or the second way to do it, this Tableau Desktop is you can register yourself as a student here. Okay. So when you see the previous, you see, so when you download your okay, when you said get Tableau for free, right? So if you have any cousins or anybody who is currently pursuing their BTech or MBA or anything, basically they should have a proper ID card, college ID card. Okay, so you need to put that information over here. Okay, whatever school name you type, you will be able to find it in the database over here. You see, you get a lot of different options over here. Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. So you can, if you have any questions, if you have any uh, cousins or anybody who's currently pursuing BTech MBA, take a image from their from their ID card, and you can use it through this. You can log in through this. Okay, what will this do is it will give you a 1-year trial version. Okay, so you can extend your trial to 1 year and you can happily work on your Tableau practice. You don't have to buy any license. You don't have to work on anything, any other cracked versions or anything. You can happily go ahead and go with the student version. So any questions in the session today? Okay, I've unmuted the participants. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and go ahead with the question. Jay, if you are speaking something, we are not able to hear you.
Hi, Krishna. Krishna, here you will be giving these basics and everything. And in order to get the real-time exposure for this dashboards and real-time project, what kind of information you'll be sharing?
So whatever hands-on exercises that we are doing, right? So it will help you clear certification and it will also help you prepare for the interview as well. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll also go for real-time scenarios like performance tuning. It's not just creating visuals, how to create a visual with good performance. Okay. There is no point creating a graph which takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes to load, right? So
Okay.
we will go for real-time scenarios like performance tuning and these cases as well.
Any demo projects that you'll be providing? Like suppose let's take some 5 to 10 reports which will be connected with multiple dimensions based on data marts, data warehouse. Will be building some
So
reports, dashboards.
we will be working on hands-on scenarios where I'll be giving you kind of a project as well, which you need to work on.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason why I'm insisting on installation is from the next session, it will be like 15 minutes of explanation and again 15 minutes of practice. So that's how the training goes. It's not like it's not like a delivery kind of a thing and you will be practicing it later. You'll have to do it within the session itself.
Okay. And what about the sources that we'll be working?
So we'll be working on 3 different sources. Sample Superstore is one of the main source. Okay, so this is a curated data set. We will have whatever we have seen here, right? So this is a curated data set. All the use cases in Tableau we will be able to work on this. So apart from this, we will also work on what do you say, a cloud source and also a RDBMS as well. Okay, so we will be connecting to one file source, one cloud source, and one regular database.
Okay, sure.
Is it mandate to install Tableau? It would be good if you can install Tableau. That's how you'll be able to learn it quickly.
Krishna, this is Ravili here. So once we download the respective Tableau desktop or public, whatever it is, so it will be self-explanatory, right, to install the things.
Yeah, it's just it's a very simple installation. There's no complex. It usually finishes in 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
At times we do it during the class itself.
Okay.
So it would be like 300-400 MB of a file, and make sure you select the right download because it will give you for Mac and it for Windows. So select the right link. It will give you a exe file for Windows, and you can install it without any issues. So if you are using some older versions of Windows, that's one problem area that I can think of. If you're using older than Windows 10 and if you are using some very old operating systems, it at times it creates issues. Okay, so actually for the practice purpose, right, we can also go for Tableau Cloud as well. If you, but limitation with Tableau Cloud is you'll be only able to connect to the Excel sheet. You'll not be able to connect to any cloud data source or RDBMS or other data sets. It will be only the Excel sheet that we will be able to connect using Tableau Cloud. It's a free version, right? So it has its own limitations. So we'll be only able to connect to the Excel files and probably Google Drive or CSV files or file-based data sources only. But with Tableau Desktop and with student version, it will be accessible to everybody. I mean, it will be accessible. It will be able to access every data source, cloud data source, or all the ones that are mentioned in the initial page. Okay, so the next session would probably be on Wednesday, and from the next session, it is going to be a 2-hour session. Since we have still have some participants who are joining for initial demos and all, so we have kept this limited to 1 hour. But from the next one onwards, it will be full-fledged 2-hour sessions, and the frequency also would be a daily session. Okay, so Karthik and Raj will get back to you on that. Let me know if you have any questions before we conclude for today. Bharat, I hope you are comfortable with the session what we had. It gave you a brief overview of what is Tableau. How about others? Sakshi, Srinivas, Rohita.
Krishna, along with the syllabus that we can view over the website, right? Apart from that, is there any detailed explanation, like in each session, what are the things will be covered? And
Sorry, what was that? Apart from the syllabus?
No, I can see the syllabus that we will be covering in this session. But apart from that, on a session wise, like what topics will be covered on a regular basis? Is there any detailed doc that explains?
Yeah, I'll be sharing you an Excel sheet where we'll have the day-to-day, what all we covered and how are we progressing. We'll have an Excel sheet that will be shared across. The same, whatever your course content that you have seen, right? So it would be in an Excel format where it would demark whether we have completed that or not. So we will have a status like that.
Okay.
And every day at the beginning of the session itself, I'll be sharing you what is the agenda for today, and end of the session we will also discuss like what would be discussed in the next day's session as well. And the advantage with this particular tool is, even if you have missed following the recording or if you have missed a session on a particular day, you can still continue in on the next day. Okay, without any, you'll not be able to. It's not of a big difference. Okay, so you can still continue. There are some scenarios where if you miss a class, you would miss the flow, right? So Tableau is not something like that. You can still work on it.
So, hi Krishna.
Yeah, Bharat.
This is
Go ahead.
Bharat here. So, from where we will be getting the source files? Like you have said, that is my Microsoft Excel or text file JSON.
Now, when you install Tableau Desktop, right? So you would be getting that,
Okay.
and you also have lots of online sources from where you can download the data as well.
Okay.
Okay. Tableau community has a lot of data sources from where you can get the data.
Okay.
Okay. People
And you will be
want
explaining
this.
how to connect the server and the data stores also, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. And
And
the user creations and the permissions.
yeah, that would be covered as part of the Tableau server. We have
Okay.
around whatever is the current list of participants in the class, right? So
Okay.
we will create all of them as users on Tableau server. Okay.
Okay.
And we will see what all options we want, what all options are there when it comes to user creation, group creation, all those we will be seeing.
Hi, Krishna.
Yes, please tell me, Sakshi.
Yeah, actually, you will be sharing the recording session, right? If sometimes we have missed the class and all, so
Yeah, you will have access to recordings. And in case if you happen to miss a particular batch, right? Let's say you joined for few days and because of some work commitments or personal commitments, you are not able to continue the session. So whatever is the next upcoming session, right? So you'll be able to continue on that as well.
okay.
So this is something which all of you can explore. I'll share this link in the chat window. So this is something which you can explore. This is this is the Tableau public gallery where people use different kinds of data sources and show their creativity, like what all can be done on Tableau. Okay, some of them are not real time, something which we can use in real time, but there are a lot of real time scenarios as well. You see, there is this guy looks like a fan of Shreya Ghoshal. So he created a graph, which is a dashboard, which is on that particular information. Okay, 3,000 songs in 20+ languages. Comparison of multiple singers like this. Okay, so likewise, you will see a lot of data that is available. On cricket, you will see a lot of information. On Sample Superstore, you will see a lot of dashboards. Okay, so on Sample Superstore, different kinds of dashboards. So this is financial complaints. Okay, so you will see a lot of information like this on forestation, on wildlife. You can see a lot of information. NFL, on all these Netflix shows. Okay, which one is the most frequently watched Netflix show? Which one has more runtime? You see, Oscars. Somebody has prepared a dashboard on Oscars as well. Okay, different genres and you see Gladiator in 2001, American Beauty 2000. So you see lots of these kind of information on Tableau Public. So whenever you get time, please go through this link. We'll not create something like this because in enterprise reporting, right? So we will not go for these kind of visualizations. Okay, so we can. These are the kind of dashboards that you can see in companies in enterprise related reporting. Okay, so this is more like a professional dashboard, right? So these are things which we are going to look at, not the other ones. So we will see how to create different dashboards. So you can also create dashboards for mobile phones as well. Nowadays, all our work is carried out from handheld devices, right? Tablets, mobiles, and these kind of devices. So we can also design dashboards for these devices as well. So how to design dashboards for device level. So we will also see that as part of our session. Okay.
Yeah, hi Krishna.
Yes, Tarun, please go ahead.
What would be the timing? Actually, this was my first session. So what would be the timing and duration of the course?
So the duration is 40 hours. Currently, we are going for a 2 hour per day class, like 8:30 to 10:30. So in a week, we'll be able to cover 10 hours. And if everybody is comfortable, we can go for a Saturday session as well. And we can finish it in 4 weeks. It's not like we will rush through things to finish it in 40 hours. Depending on how the batch is picking up the concepts and all, it might extend a little over 40 hours as well. But 40 hours is the scheduled set of sessions.
Okay, and it covers some projects that we can showcase on our public profile.
Yeah, we can pick any data source and we can start creating on the public as well. I mean, we can move it on to Tableau public as well. See, this training would give you hands-on experience to clear the first level of Tableau certification. Okay, so there is Tableau Desktop Specialist certification. So once you go through this training, you'll be able to clear that certification as well. So we'll be discussing those certification questions and also interview related questions for every topic that we have. Okay, so any other unanswered questions or are we good to conclude for today? Actually, there was a message in between. I'm not sure how many of you have shared your information, but please share your WhatsApp numbers so that you get frequent updates from our team. Okay, so if there are no further questions, let's conclude here. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all in the next session.